All right, we're about to come back in for round 4. We're currently 2-1, which I believe puts us live for top 16. We're currently 19th place with, I assume, pretty much the worst tiebreakers. They're not very good. I'm just gonna Montolio. He usually plays Shops. My matchup against Shops is generally good. I don't like being on the draw in game 1. Because one of the ways you lose is that they just drop a sphere and then you can't ever do anything. Did I just get disconnected? Why did it not? Alright, well, with the ability to force a shop, play a Deathrite, and have a counter spell, I think this is actually a fine hand versus Shops. And he's mulliganing. I'm assuming, I don't know if this is a hard keep. Yes, it must be a hard keep decision. Because, yeah. I believe this hand has the tools to beat Shops. Yeah. Counter whatever crazy thing comes first. Okay, well, not that, I guess, because, yeah. Guess we have no choice but to counter. Hope they don't have another crazy thing. If it's another sphere, I'm going to be very sad. Because if it's another sphere, I can just waste on them. And hope they can't do anything. Yeah. All right. Yeah, this hand was weak against the double sphere. Turn 1 hand. That's how it goes sometimes. So this is going to be a Revoker. Just don't. They're probably going to name Deathrite Shaman, which would be unfortunate. Just don't name Mox Jet. I mean, yeah, exactly. That was the right name. Oh. Alright. It certainly lets me do things. And now, all spells? Yeah. If only roasted with Thorn of Amethyst. So I've got 1 card in hand, 4 mana. There's lots of ways this could go badly for me. They didn't have a land last turn. They got something now. So this is a Ravager Shops version. Which, yee. Nothing to waste. I do need a removal spell of some kind. The opponent's ability to correctly guess Deathrite Shaman off of Wasteland is not unreasonable at all. It's a perfectly reasonable name. In fact, that's just a smart name. It's not even like lucky, it's just smart. Ballista? Oh, this is Stonecoil Serpent. This is not looking great for me. I need to draw a Toxic Deluge that is not currently in my deck. Well, I'm blocking something. I think I want to block the Revoker. Because if they sack it to the Arcbound Ravager, then I get to use my Revoker, my Deathrite Shaman. And if they don't, then they just trade, and that's kind of okay for me. Whereas blocking the Arcbound Ravager, they can just sack anything to eat my thing rather than trade. Whereas now they have a choice of either trading or making the Arcbound Ravager bigger, and I have to assume that they'd rather trade. I clearly don't have another Deathrite in my hand or I would have played it. I still feel as though I'm very likely losing this game, which is unfortunate. But losing game 1 against Shops is not great. But I do have so many good sideboard cards. Like if I draw Force of Vigor, I just hardcast it. Alright, so they've chosen to just trade off. I think that's a reasonable call. Force of Vigor. Nope. In fact, it was one of the worst draws it could have been. Yeah. Kind of need to draw multiple Fatal Pushes that are not in the deck right now. Yeah, this is probably the right call. And land? Oh no, time walk. Alright, so I could fetch just to thin. I'm dead on board anyway. I don't have a ton of options right now. I don't even know what could save me. I'm probably going to draw that Flusterstorm I decided to put in main instead of other places. Yeah, there we go. Alright, well I did make my main deck worse against Shops, but specifically Ravager Shops. Ashiok does nothing against Ravager Shops. Alright, so cards that do nothing. Mental Misstep. Go over here. Mental Misstep. Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm. Ashiok. Actually doesn't do much, but doesn't do literally nothing either. We want Energy Flux, we want Fatal Push, we want Toxic Deluge, we want Force of Vigor, Collector Oof, Tropical Island. I'm not a fan of putting in Tabernacle against this deck. They usually, like, whenever you play it, they just have whatever they need for that. Take out a dig. I don't expect the games to be super long. I have too many cards. Too many cards. All of these are kind of good. Narset does the least. Gotta chuck 2 more. I mean, Leovold does things against Wastelands, Walking Ballistas. Not a ton else. He's not a great blocker, and he's hard to cast, especially when you're getting forced out. Maybe this is what I want to do. Do I want to go to 0 Leovolds? I think... I don't know. I don't know. Alright. Come on, hand that's good against Shops. Well, look, this is like... No. I'm not keeping a 0 lander. This I will keep. This I will keep. What are we putting on the bottom, though? Probably Gush. So I don't even have the 2 islands yet. I'm going to have to pitch something to Force of Will. Probably. All right. So return, go down to 5. We're going to want to upkeep this Force, upkeep this Ancestral. Well, I guess I don't actually need to do the upkeep of a deck that probably isn't even running Mental Missteps or anything else, but I don't really want to take that chance, as I've seen some randomly blue splashing ones recently. I probably actually could have done that during my turn, now that I think about it. Do I care about that? I don't actually know that I do right now, based on what my hand is. Because I can wasteland them for a couple turns and still have mana up to Force of Will. So what do we got? Revoker. Do I care about Revoker? Do I want to just like Force of Vigor them and then kind of want to just Force of Vigor them and then Wasteland? That just seems like, what are they even doing at that point? And they've named Deathrite, which was not unexpected. Look at me, look at me. I am the land destruction deck now. Good, good. I guess just playing a big old dumb Goyf is probably fine here. He's a 4/5. I've got Force to protect it. Then enough Force of Vigor if it ever comes to that point. The opponent can't currently cast any spells. Alright, well now they can cast a spell. Mana Vault. It gives them so much mana. If I counter it, they could play some other artifact and then do something. Can't let them have that much mana, right? That can't be right. If they don't have another land, I'm okay with that. This would be a soul ring. Just a stone coil for 1. And then next turn I could just hard cast Force of Vigor as long as they don't have another sphere. But they will have a sphere because that's just how it's going to go. Ravager I'm not as worried about. Sure. So I can wait until I start to do something and then use Force of Vigor. If they chump, okay. I was thinking there's a chance that they would chump and then like move the counters, but they chose not to. Maybe I should have Force of Vigor just to try to deny the mana, but I don't know. I just can't. I feel like that can't be right to leave a creature alive with an Arcbound Ravager. Modular 2. Killing that in response doesn't do much. Are there any creatures in the graveyard out of curiosity? Yes, there's one. Okay. So killing these things won't make the Goyf any bigger. There are no sorceries in the graveyard. Now at the part where we start to wonder, was this a hard decision or are they disconnected? Oh, am I disconnected? Well, they could be disconnected. Beginning of combat step. Sure. All right. Yep. So now the question is, do I try to shoot anything? I don't think I do. Because I could do it on my hand with Gush, on my turn with Gush. Maybe I even draw a green card to help. Wait. Deathrite Shaman is currently turned off. If I cast Deathrite Shaman, there's a chance I won't be able to... If I Gush, there's a chance I won't be able to play Deathrite Shaman and then also Force of Vigor. But I do want to see some cards. Oh. Well, that's also an option. And then I can leave Force of Vigor up just in case anything goes wrong. Because if I attack and they block with a Scrapyard Recombiner, they can basically go all in putting it on one thing, and then I can just Force of Vigor that one thing. Yeah, keeping Deathrite in hand seems good. If they don't block, they can keep 2 creatures alive. Then sack like the Scrapyard Recombiner and the Arcbound Ravager to modular onto some stuff, but then I just Force of Vigor it. So, doesn't go great for them. Alright, and this sets them down to 2. I'm going to go over that Gush decision in my mind a lot. It ended up, I think, paying off quite well because I both have a green card in my hand and I have Energy Flux in play. But I feel like there are enough ways it could have gone badly that maybe it wasn't a good idea. Holding the Deathrite Shaman worked out very well, though. Maybe it wasn't that bad given that I had the Deathrite Shaman and the Deathrite Shaman already couldn't do anything, so it was a fine card to pitch to force a Vigor. All right, here we go. So they could tap, sacrifice the Recombiner to get, yeah, she sacrificed itself, right? Yeah, sacrificing itself. Oh, no. Yeah, no, you sacked it the Ravager, okay. Makes sense. So now the Ravager is going to get bigger. I probably want to put a stop in their draw step. Although, I probably won't need to do much more there. I can't think of too many ways it goes wrong for me to just wait till the last possible minute to force the Vicar. Okay. So they're sacrificing that to the Archbound Ravager. Things are going as expected. Shrouded Recombiner was not used. It's dead. I assume he's going to pay on the Ravager. Not pay on the Serpent. Right now, this isn't lethal. So, I mean, kind of is if I crack my Polluted Delta, but... trying to decide if they attack. Just with a Ravager. Sure. I'm willing to go down to 3. That's fine. I can't think of too many ways I get punished for this. Wasteland. That certainly doesn't punish this. Alright. Alright, good. That worked out. That worked out. That worked out because of a lot of Wastelands. Was there anything in my sideboard that I'm like, man, I wish I'd had that? I don't think so. I still feel like I just don't know how to play Gush and should take it out because I don't know how to play it. Against a Wasteland deck, the ability to bounce 2 islands isn't the worst thing in the world, although I'm not sure I've ever actually done that to save a land. And when you do that, you're usually losing the mana anyway. I feel like I've talked myself into wanting this to be Dig Through Time instead. But I could be wrong. I look forward to finding out how wrong I am. I think this is probably the pivotal round in terms of the difference between being 3-1 and 2-2 was pretty big when you're trying to make top 16. This is one of those matchups that's just always scary, though. Because they can always just have a crazy enough hand. Like, look, what does this hand do? If he mulligans down to, like, 5, maybe this is a keep? That can't even be right. This just has no hosers. Well, it doesn't die to a lot of, like, mana denial stuff, but it also just doesn't do anything. 1 sphere, and this hand does nothing until turn 3, possibly even longer with this wasteland. Yeah, I feel like I have to be able to do better than this hand. Even if it's just like, what do they do? Mulligan to 6. Well, I will also mulligan. Ooh, ooh. Oh boy. This is so bad against the turn 1 sphere, but it's so good against anything else. Do we put the flux back though, or the trophy? Because like, I feel like the way this hand loses is that they play a sphere, in which case I can just never cast this energy flux. But if they play only one, as long as it's not specifically Trinisphere, I think this hand is actually okay. Because it has the tools to be able to cast Ancestral Recall. I don't know, though. I do think I have to get rid of the energy flux. I could also get rid of the Fatal Push, but that just doesn't seem that good. I think I've actually kind of liked removing Leovold here. But get rid of the Assassin's Trophy, because that gives me a 1-2-3 curve that makes sense. This hand is a key. The worst part is that like I could see an argument for putting back almost any of these except for the Recall Catacombs or Rainforest. Trophy and Oof go very well together, because you can keep off their land and their actual artifact sources of mana. Alright, so we're going to keep this. Are we putting back the Flux, the Fatal Push? I think I have to put back the Flux. And then just pray that this is not... I don't know. I don't know how likely they are to just be mulliganing to a Sphere effect. Because mine isn't one of those decks where you really need to do that. Just don't be Trinisphere. Alright, well that's fine. Oh, is this a Mox now? Chalice on 0. Whatever. I'm actually okay with that. I just need them not to have anything too crazy this turn. Just not like another Sphere. Yeah. Collector Oof will be good. Oh, God. This is just like a Stone Coil, though. That's actually fine, because I can deal with it. With a Fatal Push. And then they have 1 card in hand? Still 6 mana. Just have nothing. Well, it's notably not nothing. Yeah, fine. Ooh. Really? They can't untap their Mana Vault, so Collector Oof doesn't seem super helpful right now. So what do we got? I basically have to Ancestral here. Well, I could force it and just not have my Ancestral, but like, how does that ever get me anywhere? So non-creature spells are going to cost 2 more to cast, which means I'm basically never casting these Assassin's Trophies. If I cast my Ancestral, I can just never... Ugh, this hurts. This hurts. But I think it's correct. Now they have no cards in hand. And I can just drop a Collector Oof. Actually, yeah. And if they don't draw anything super interesting this turn, then we've got Force of... Yeah, good. But I don't know if there's a particular time I'd like to do anything right now, because I could try to deny them a lot of mana, but them having a lot of mana isn't the worst thing in the world when I've got nothing but answers in hand. And they can't cast Moxes. So what is this? Walking Ballista doesn't scare me because it can't do anything. That's fine. So now I can... I think I'm just gonna Assassin's Trophy this. I don't really need to get rid of that. Oh, right. But joy. Then no one of their cards is scary enough to want to use Assassin's Trophy, so... Scrap Trawler? Scrap Trawler? Huh. So I can get back Stone Coil Serpent when it dies. That's really bad for me. Now I just, like, can't attack, I guess. But they don't have another way to sacrifice an artifact at the moment. So if they attack, then I get to attack back. They could untap this Mana Vault if they really wanted to. I don't know how they sacrifice artifacts with a Collector Oof in play. And if they attack, I can attack back. So that's bad for me for them to take out my only black source, but I'm not blowing up anything in play right now. I hope they attack me. That'd be great. They did not. Something good. I do think I'm going to lose this game because, wow, Scrap Trawler. I did not see that coming. Of course. So Friction Metamorph? Sure, what are they copying here? Scrap Trawler? That's really bad for me if they can find a way to... I would really like a black source. That'd be great. This is a black source. So we're going at 3. If they attack me with both, I can kill them. Draw a black source, I can kill them. Alright, well that's bad for me. That is not good for me. Come on, land. That's good. Does energy flux really help right now? Yes, it does. Okay. Is there anything else I'd rather grab? I could grab Oko. That actually seems kind of good. Because Oko's just always so good. Hey. But if I play Energy Flux, I feel like Energy Flux just has to be good enough, right? Because I get to keep one artifact? And that's if they take 2 damage? At which point they just lose to my Underground Sea? Alright, yes, we got there! Alright, top 16, I can smell it.